The Battle of the Granicus River, 334 BC. The battle was the first major battle between Macedon and the Persian Empire. Alexander had crossed into Asia Minor after his father's death, Philip II. The Persians heard of his crossing. Darius, the king of kings, didn't think much of it, due to the fact that the Macedonian army was pretty small. Historians say it was probably 40 to 50,000. Now the Persians in Asia called a council to decide on what to do. Memnon of Rhodes was a Greek fighting for the Persian Empire and was a veteran. He knew that the Macedonians were bleeding themselves dry, and all the Persians had to do was declare a scorched earth policy. The Persian governors were baffled. They considered this cowardice and decided they would gather the troops and fight the Macedonian king. Their army was about 20 to 30,000 strong, supported by about 6,000 Greeks and 10,000 of the world's strongest cavalry. Upon reaching the Granicus, Parmenion, Alexander's second in command, tried to talk Alexander from attacking the Granicus. If you don't know why, it's due to the fact that the river was flowing extremely fast and the banks of the river were muddy and steep. But Alexander would not turn away. He decided the fight would happen, even though everyone can agree this is a terrible move. Nonetheless, the army is deployed. Alexander put himself with the companion cavalry on the right. Parmenion was on the left with his cavalry. The phalanx troops were in the middle. The Persians had their cavalry in the front, which was a mistake due to the fact that the cavalry didn't have the room to charge. They put their infantry, which should have been in the front, behind the cavalry. Alexander ordered his phalanx troops forward. The Persians hit them with every arrow they could find. The phalanx could barely move due to the river and arrows. Alexander then ordered his cavalry to charge. However, he didn't charge head-on. He charged at an angle towards the middle of the Persian line. The Persians were taken back by this move, but nonetheless they regrouped and charged. Everyone could see Alexander, but the cavalry was so tightly packed that they were more fighting like infantry than cavalry. The Persians swarmed the Macedonian king and dealt heavy blows. Eventually, a second wave of cavalry attacked. Things began to look bleak. One of the enemy cavalry commanders threw a javelin at Alexander. Alexander caught it with his shield and then charged the commander. His spear broke on the Persian chest. As the Persian went to kill Alexander, Alexander jabbed again with his broken spear and killed the Persian. Another Persian attacked and hit Alexander in the head with his sword. Somehow he lived, and turned and killed the Persian. Another Persian was about to kill Alexander. However, Cletus the Black, yes, that was his name, cut the Persian's arm off. Eventually, the Macedonian infantry made it over and pushed the cavalry away. The Persian cavalry fell back and sent in the infantry. The Greek infantry held the line, but the Persians were inexperienced. Parmenion broke through on the Persians' left and charged the rear of the infantry, which sent the Persians fleeing, but the Greeks held on. Alexander attacked again. The Greeks, after fighting for a few hours, surrendered. However, most were killed and some were sent back to Macedon to work as slaves in the mine. That was not a good blow to Alexander, sending his own Greeks, which he did this campaign to liberate, back into slaves. The losses were small on either side. The Persians lost about 2,500 and their Greek allies were almost wiped out. The Macedonians lost about 400 to 500, which seems extremely small, but you have to consider that about 10 times that number would have been wounded. Eventually, Alexander moved further into Asia, conquering all of it, and then into Syria, where he would meet the King of Kings at Issus. Thank you for watching this video.